Mr. Sisatris, and this is my monthly wrap-up. I had a really good reading month. I read 8 books this month, which I know compared to other booktubers and book talkers and all them probably isn't a ton, but this is a big month for me, so I'm gonna take it as a win and just move on. And I'm gonna try to go through these kind of fast because you don't want to hear me just blab ad nauseum about everything. So starting off strong, I began the month with Amy Tan's The Bonesetter's Daughter. I did a full review of this one, which you can check out. I loved it. It was gorgeous. I did find the ending to be a little too neat and tidy, but for what it was, I still thought it was a really great reading experience, and I really enjoyed it. Next up, I continued my Wheel of Time marathon with Winter's Heart. This one wasn't bad. I felt like the ending was amazing, and it was really important to the overall mythology, but it did take a long time to kind of get there. But it wasn't bad. I did enjoy it. Next up, I read Kim Sherwood's Double or Nothing. This is the first in a new trilogy that's set in the James Bond universe that's been kind of moved forward. So everything in the original Ian Fleming novels still takes place in this one, but it sounds like it took place more like the 80s and 90s. And this follows 3 other 00 agents who are trying to solve the mystery of what happened to 007, who's missing. The characters in this one are great. Sherwood really understands Fleming's writing style. I'm currently reading all of his original novels, and I will be doing a big video on that once I'm done, but she really understands his writing style and what he focuses on, and the blend between like action and also just like observation and the kind of travelogue stuff that Fleming does so well. Even though he has an entire section where he's like obsessed with regaling the reader on the intricacies of like chemin de fer, but I hope I pronounced that right. But this author, she really understood the assignment, and I love these new characters, and I cannot wait to see how their story will play out in the next 2 books in the series. Super excited about this one. In fact, I got this one as an ebook originally, and as soon as I finished it, I ordered the hardcover immediately because I was like, nope, I'm collecting this trilogy in hardcover. I loved it so much. And then I continued my Anne Rice read-through with Blood Canticle. This one is kind of disappointing. It ends the Mayfair series for real this time, and it continues the vampire series, but it doesn't really add a lot to it, and it just felt meandery, and it felt like it was sort of done because the publisher needed Anne Rice to do it, not because she particularly enjoyed it. I don't know, it felt a little lifeless, and it just didn't have the same spark as some of her other stuff. Then I read Dead Drop by M.P. Woodward. This was sent to me by K Publicity as an ARC before it came out on, I think, the 23rd is when it came out. I really enjoyed this one. This is part of it's part 2 of a series, but it's kind of a standalone. But it's, international espionage and cutting barbs between the 2 main characters who are an married couple, and this was just a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. It was smart, it was really slick, and I love the main characters, and I really want to continue with the series and see kind of what their relationship is like in the future, because I know the focus was probably supposed to be on like, espionage and cool technology and all that kind of stuff, but I was just like, I just really love this couple, and I really wanted them to get back together. So I was invested. I really enjoyed this one. Then I read Carson McCullers' The Heart is a Lonely Hunter. This one was devastatingly sad. It was good. I enjoyed it. It wasn't like a bleak book where you read it and you're like, why did I read that? That just tortured me for no reason. It's a good book. This was written in 1940. It's a picture of kind of a small American town in the South. In the late 30s, and just kind of the aimlessness of the people, and how they all desperately had dreams and wanted to become something and just couldn't, and it was just, it was so sad. Then I continued on with Wheel of Time again. I also read Crossroads of Twilight. This one is kind of known as the worst book in the series. I didn't really find it that awful, but it really didn't add a whole lot to the plot. It added stuff to the character, which I appreciated, but it didn't move the whole plot forward enough to justify this size of a book. And then I finished the month with, oh, they all fell over. I finished the month with E.M. Forster's Where Angels Fear to Tread. I've read A Passage to India, and I really like his writing, but I've never read any of his other works. So I wanted to read this one. This is his first novel, and this was a really perplexing read. It's funny, like satirical and sharp and just like slapstick comedy, and then it just dives into just like utter bleak tragedy, and the whiplash between those two is just jarring. But I felt like it worked. It's very much a dark satire of like English snobbishness in the early 20th century, and I think Forster really captured that well. And so the kind of the goofy fun, or not fun, but like the goofy silliness of like these snob people who are just horrified at the idea that someone could be like raised Italian who's English, because at this point Italians weren't seen as white, they were, you know, very other. And then juxtaposing that with kind of how they react to like awful tragedy, it really gets you thinking about like the kinds of stuff that they were just kind of unaware of and just kind of ignoring, and how they were able to kind of focus so much on themselves and make it all about themselves when they were kind of really cut off from their understanding of the whole world. And there's a lot of great stuff in here about like language and cultural communications and things that don't translate between Italian and English. And I don't know, it was a thought-provoking read, but if you go into it expecting the importance of being earnest style comedy, you will get that, but it also gets really dark, so be aware of that. But I don't know, I think this was an interesting read, and I'm still thinking about it, so I guess I enjoyed it. Overall, this was a really fun month. I don't know what the theme would be of the month, I guess. I'm still in my like jumping back and forth between like thrillers and classics, so I don't know. We'll see where that goes. But I had a great month, and I really enjoyed it. And here's hoping June is just as good. All right. See you later. Bye.